Hola estudiantes! Today we're going to go ahead and learn how to conjugate AR verbs in Spanish. Now this is a very important lesson, so please make sure to pay attention, pause, and rewatch the video as many times as needed so that you can make sure you have this content down and you're ready to go for class on Monday. Now, that being said, we're going to go ahead and start with our objectives. Objective number 1. Today I will review the Spanish pronouns so that I can make sure I have a strong foundation to learn how to conjugate AR verbs. I know I have it when I can write all of the Spanish pronouns in a box of 6. Objective number 2. Today I will learn the present tense endings for AR verbs so that I can correctly conjugate the verbs. I know I have it when I can write out the 6 present tense AR endings in the box of 6. Objective number 3. Today I will learn to conjugate AR verbs so that I can develop my Spanish speaking and writing skills. I know I have it when I can list out the 3 steps and correctly conjugate 3 words without looking at my notes. Now let's go ahead and start with reviewing the Spanish pronouns. Remember, we've done this in class already, so you should be familiar with each of these words. I want you to go ahead and use your paper and pencil to write them down in the correct order. Go ahead and click pause and use this as your word bank to complete the task. Okay, now that you have seen the flashcards in the previous slide and you thought about the order of your Spanish pronouns, so los pronombres, now we're going to go ahead and actually put them in the right order. Now I have randomized the cards just like in the previous picture, and now we're going to work together to put it in the right area on the chart, okay? So the first one that we have is nosotras, right? Remember we talked about nosotras and nosotros, they both mean we, and we're going to have this one go up here. So this is nosotras, we're going to put it up here. Then we have él. Él means he. It's singular, so it's going to go on this side. Remember, this side is singular, this side is plural, so only one person. This is more than one person, so 2 or 3. The next one that we have is ellos. So ellos means they. So we have ellos over here. Then we have ustedes, which goes in the same box, and we know that because it just means they. Now remember, ustedes is used across most of the Spanish-speaking countries as the word they. Now in España, remember that we have actually a different word that is used for they or y'all. So we'll see that in a second. So the next one that we have is ella. Ella means she, so we know it's singular. Then we have tú. Now remember, tú, okay, is going to be used in an informal way. You do not use tú to talk to an authority figure or to your parents or an elder, okay? Remember that we only use the word tú when it's somebody that is pretty much equal to you. So maybe your sister, maybe a brother, a cousin, or a friend, okay? Now the next word that we have is going to be vosotras. Remember, vosotras is only used in Spain, so you don't see it as much, but it is important to know and remember. Then we have ellas, which is the plural they, for only girls. Remember the rules for that. So ellas is used for only a group of girls. Then we have yo, which is the easiest one. So yo means I. Then we got usted. So remember usted. What is usted? Usted is you, right? But what kind of you is it? It is not informal, which means it's going to be what? It's going to be your formal you. So I'm going to use usted to talk to the principal, to talk to my parents most likely, to talk to anybody of authority, a boss, someone I don't even know. Just out of respect, I'm going to say usted. ¿Cómo está usted? Right? As opposed to ¿Cómo estás tú? Now we got 2 more. So the last 2 we have are nosotros and vosotros. Okay, now remember, these are all our subject pronouns, los pronombres en español. It is very important that we know this, okay, because what we're going to learn next is going to go hand in hand with this. So if you don't know this, take a second, pause this video, and go ahead and review it. Say it 3 times. Then write it 3 times, and then say it 3 times again. So you can make sure that you have the Spanish pronouns memorized, okay? Okay, now we're going to go ahead and learn about conjugating AR verbs. So the first thing I want to do is talk about English. Let's just focus on how to conjugate words in English, right? In English is actually super simple because we only have one alteration to the conjugation. So let's look at the word, let's say to talk, okay? So we know to talk in español is hablar. We're just going to actually write it in English right now. So to talk, let's just conjugate it, right? If I were to say I, you, he, she, all of that good stuff that we already know in our pronouns, then obviously I would take a little bit longer, so I'm just going to write the words, but think about it. It's going to be I talk, right? Then it's going to be you talk, he or she talks, right? Notice how this is the only difference we have. You add the S. Then we have we talk. You have y'all talk. Obviously that's for Spain if you use vosotros. Then you have they talk. So English, super easy, right? Talk, talks every once in a while, and that's it. That's all you have to remember. But now let's think about it in Spanish, because in Spanish it gets a little bit more complicated, but it's not hard. So now we're going to go ahead and start talking about our AR verbs. Now the first thing I want you to do is go into your Spanish binder, take out your Chapter 2 Spanish vocabulary words, and look at the AR verbs, right? So the first thing I want to do before we even go into using the words and conjugating the word itself is actually learning the endings that we're going to be using for our conjugation. So our endings are going to be o, you have as, you have a, we have amos, we have ice, don't forget you have an accent on the A here, and you have an. So you have o, as, a, amos, ice, an. The best way to memorize these endings is by creating a song on your own or looking into one of the videos that I have posted on Google Classroom and memorizing those songs. When you put it to a song, it definitely helps you remember it. We're going to talk about the 3 steps for conjugating verbs in Spanish. Now the key thing here is to just know the steps. If you know the steps, then you are on the right track because you can just follow the rules and then you conjugate the word. So let's just talk about the steps real quick. So for step 1, you have to make sure to cross out your AR. And we're going to go ahead and actually use this with an example in a little bit. And we're actually going to go ahead and do an example in a second. But I want to first review the steps with you. So we just did step 1, cross out the AR. Step 2, you're going to go ahead and underline, okay, so make sure to underline your stem. So underline the stem. And we're going to talk about what the stem is in a second. And then step 3 is you're going to go ahead and add the correct ending, right? So in this case, we're going to go ahead and add the correct ending. Now we want to make sure we're adding the correct ending because you don't want to go ahead and add any random ending, okay? Just to review, let's go ahead and go over the endings again. You're going to have o, you're going to have as, a, you have amos, we have ice, make sure you have the accent on the A, and you have an. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and practice conjugating AR verbs. The first thing I want you to do is to take out that paper and pencil that I said you were going to need at the beginning of the video. Because I want you to follow along with me doing this example, okay? So when we're talking about conjugating words, you can use any word, right? But we're going to go ahead and use hablar. Hablar is to speak. So what I want you to do is on your paper, you can go ahead and create a cheat sheet, kind of like I have, just so we can remember our steps and our AR endings, but you don't have to because it's also on the video. But we're going to start with the word hablar. Go ahead and write the word on your paper. And then I want you to tell me what it means. So hablar means to talk. Now let's go ahead and follow our conjugation steps. So the first step is to cross out our AR. You can cross it out. You can say you're going to drop your AR. It doesn't matter. The point is that you and I do not want an AR at the end of our word. So once you drop your AR, you're going to go ahead and underline your stem. Alright, so remember that your stem is going to consist of all the letters except the last 2, in this case your AR. So once we cross off our AR, we have our stem. So now the key is that you're going to go ahead and add your stem and your ending in each box, okay? So we're going to start with habl, so this is my stem. I'm going to go ahead and write it on each box. Go ahead and do this on your paper too. So your paper should look like mine. So you have habl for all of them. And then all I gotta do is add the correct ending like it says on step 3. Now look at this, guys. I can literally move all of these letters right here and you have done it. Okay, you have conjugated your first word in Spanish. Now let's go ahead and actually write it out. So habl, it's gonna be just with your subject pronoun and the word. You're gonna put them together. You're gonna have yo hablo, tú hablas. You're gonna have él habla, nosotros hablamos, or nosotras hablamos. Then you have vosotros habláis, don't forget that accent. And then we have ellos or ellas or ustedes hablan, okay? So this is why it is super important for you to know your subject pronouns, because although I didn't actually write them out, I know already where each one goes. So now that you are familiar with conjugating AR verbs, I went ahead and deleted or erased, in this case, the cheat sheet, and I want you to use your paper and your pencil to try to do this all on your own, okay? So we're going to go ahead and use the word caminar, okay? So So I'm going to write caminar. Go ahead and once you write the word caminar, click pause on your video and try to conjugate it. Put aside your notes, put everything aside, just keep the blank piece of paper so that you can actually practice and see what you understand and what you don't understand when conjugating a word. Okay, so welcome back. At this point, you should be already done conjugating your word caminar. Now let's first talk about what it means. Caminar means to what? It means to walk. Now we know our steps, right? We just talked about them. We should be familiar. They should be fresh in our minds. So we are going to first cross our AR, and then we're going to underline our stem before we add the correct ending. So I have my box of 6. My stem is camin, and I'm going to add the ending. So check your papers. This is what you should have. Yo camino, tú caminas, él, ella o usted camina, nosotros caminamos, vosotros camináis, don't forget your accent, and ellos, ellas, and ustedes caminan. Okay? So at this point, this was just a quick little review, just an extra challenge to make sure that you are on the right track. If you found this a little bit difficult, go ahead and rewind the video and actually watch it all over again, and then come back and try a different word from your vocabulary list. Okay guys, so for this practice activity, the first thing you need to do is find a partner. So it could be someone at home or a friend at school. Now go ahead and watch this example first, and then you can go ahead and take notes and or just pause this and then practice later on, okay? So I found my sister, so she's my partner for today, and what you're going to be doing is you're going to go ahead and actually explain to your partner what it is that you have learned. So in this case, the subject pronouns and how to conjugate AR verbs, including the 3 steps and the AR endings. And then ideally you would provide them with a cheat sheet. So in this case, I wrote everything she needs to know on a card, and that way she can reference it while we practice. Now once she understands the concept, which in this case I have explained it before the video, then we're going to go ahead and practice. So one person is going to do the subject pronouns or say the subject pronouns. The other person is going to conjugate the word. In this case, she's going to say the subject pronouns first, and then I'm going to conjugate, and we're going to practice with 2 words. Okay, so the first word is going to be caminar.
Yo.
So yo. Now I have to go ahead and follow the steps. So step 1, I take off my AR. Step 2, I underline my stem. And step 3, I add the correct ending. If you need to, go ahead and use a paper or pencil to practice as you do this. So she says yo, I'm going to say camino. Tú caminas.
Él
camina. And then we switch. So in this next part, I'm going to give the subject pronoun, and she's going to go ahead and conjugate the word. The word we're going to use is tomar. So yo
tomo,
ellos
toman,
nosotros,
tomamos,
and that's it. So that's all we're going to be doing. So one person is going to give the pronoun, the other person is going to conjugate the word. If you need to use paper and pencil to do so, then please go ahead and grab one. Make sure that you are ready, because you will be doing this activity in class tomorrow with somebody. Now that we have practiced conjugating AR verbs, we're going to go ahead and take a short practice quiz. Please go ahead and take out your Spanish homework and conjugate the following 3 words on the back. When you are done, check your answers and make sure to bring your completed homework assignment to class tomorrow. There will be some music playing while you take your quiz, but if you need additional time, please go ahead and pause the video while you finish. Bueno, this concludes the AR conjugation video. I hope it was helpful. Now please make sure to watch this video as many times as you need to in order to fully understand the concept. Alright, that is all for today. Hasta luego. Adios.